Hey everybody, John Van Dyke here for New Jersey Exposed. Today is Tuesday, January 17, 2022. 2023. My bad. Time is 5:43 p.m. and yes, of course, Jersey time. I'm still in New Jersey. Nothing's changed. Okay, so the story came out here on the World Socialist website. This is dated January 3rd, 2023. A record year of death. Who were the victims of police violence in the U.S. in 2022? There's the story right there. Okay, let's find out what it says. This is police in the United States killed at an unprecedented rate in 2022, taking the lives of at least 1,176 people for an average of 3.2 deaths every day, according to the year-end tally by Mapping Police Violence. Well, you're never going to hear the heroes talk about it, are they? All I see on their Facebook pages is about some cop got killed 20 years ago, 50 years, 100 yeyears ago, and it's just more narcissistic stuff to command narcissistic supply from the bootlickers to solicit a certain response. But they're not going to talk about this, right? Because we, the people, don't matter. Only the blue lives matter. The rest of us are, we don't matter. There were just 12 days where police did not kill someone. Police were killed in every state by local and state police. People were killed in every state by local, state police, county sheriff's deputies, and federal agents. While African Americans continue to be killed by the police at a rate disproportionate to their share of the population, accounting for nearly a quarter of killings in 2022, as in previous year, victims were of every race and ethnicity, with those classified as white accounting for the largest number of deaths. So any race baiters out there, white people really got it the most, but then again, if you take it in proportion of society, I guess maybe minorities get it the worst. It was also a deadly year for migrants encountering border police. There were at least 40 fatal encounters with Customs and Border Protection agents, according to a tally maintained by the Southern Borders Communities Coalition, the highest total for any year tracked by the group, except for 2021. Despite the grim, nearly daily occurrence of murders and homicides by police, cops continue to kill with impunity, almost never facing criminal charges or significant disciplinary actions. Police officers were criminally charged in just 10 cases last year, less than 1%. But they don't include how many. I just lost my flags back there. Okay, the bottom line is taxpayers pay the price. That's who gets punished. Those who face punishment after killing someone, typically paid leave and slap on the wrist, are quickly returned to the streets. Las Cruz police officer Jared Kotzer was returned to duty just a few months after he shot and killed a 75-year-old Amelia Baca in the doorway of her home in April 2022. A still unidentified Jacksonville, Florida sheriff's deputy has remained on the job and faced no charges or disciplinary actions, despite killing Kevin Mahap, a 40-year-old white man who was suffering from mental health emergency in April. Let me continue going down here. A selection of killings last year gives a sense of reign of terror being waged by police forces across the country. One of the first people to be killed in 2022 was James Williams of Canton, Ohio. The father of 6 was shot and killed by police officers. Robert Hoover, without warning, while ringing in the new year with his family, was celebratory gunfire in their fenced-in backyard. Jay Land Walker was killed in Akron, Ohio on June 27-22 in a hail of 90 police bullets after a car chase and brief pursuit on foot. His death sparked multiple nights of protests demanding an end to police violence, which were met by brutal police repression. The officers who shot him have not officially been named or charged and were put on paid leave before returning to death duty. One of the oldest victims of the year, 82-year-old Jose Antonio Suarez, was killed by police in Margate, Florida on March 27th. Police claimed that he was pointing a gun at people and firing it into the ground. When he allegedly pointed the gun at officers, they opened fire, killing him. Well, you know what? I'm going to give the police a pass on that one. He was a frail old man. He was 82. He was hard of hearing. I don't care. If I was the cop and he had a gun, I don't care how old or what. If he point that gun at me, that's it. You're going down. So I got some more stories here of people being killed by the police. Nearly 3 years since the mass protest triggered by the murder of George Floyd by 4 police officers in Minneapolis, Minnesota, the reign of police violence continues unabated. Groups like Black Lives Matter, which is a fraud, which presents police killings solely as a racial issue, promote community oversight and racial equality as solutions. The leaders of Black Lives Matter have enriched themselves, blah, blah. I think the way to curb the police violence in any shape or form is you have to hold them personally accountable. We have to stop this qualified immunity. We have to modify it. And we have to change the indemnification laws too. Further on down here it says, record level of police violence in 2022 makes clear that the police, as Friedrich Engels explained, are special bodies of armed men established and maintained to defend the capitalist system and the equality which it creates. In their defense of private property, the police target the working class, and particularly the most vulnerable, the poor, the homeless, and the mentally ill, and those who are, the poor, exactly. The most backyard fascist and racist elements are deliberately cultivated within their ranks to suppress any sign of opposition from workers. Putting an end to police killings is not a matter of reform, but of ending a system which has produced historic levels of inequality and violence, and reorganize the society to meet the needs of the working class rather than a privileged few at the top. Well, it sounds like they got a little bit of agenda there, but I think the biggest problem with police violence and people being killed is training has a big part to do with it, but there's no dog in a fight. Cop goes and shoots somebody, well, I fear for my life, and that's the story they give, and they get off on it. The juries are rigged. They got all you need is a couple bootleggers on there, and who's to determine if they're bootleggers or not? And that's the problem. You know, they need to know that there's going to be some accountability, and if you shoot that gun, you better damn well make sure it's for a good reason. And I'll cite this case here that when I put there a couple months back, where the cop was on top of that black man, dry humping him, and he put a bolt in the back of his head because he thought he had his taser or something, instead of just getting up off the guy and backing up and say, hey, stop it. But he didn't. He was caught up in the moment, and he thought that the only, his training was the only solution is the gun. That was that cop's solution to that problem that the cop created. Well, the guy running created it, but the cop just made it worse. And as we always say, there's no bad situation the police can't make worse. And that situation there, that cop chased him. He had a history of doing that kind of activity. He was a young guy, full of testosterone, and he saw a guy running. He had to chase after him, rather than just saying, you know what, I'm going to wait till backup gets here. Nope, he chased him, got on top of him, put the bullet in the head. Now he's been charged. Whether anything will happen to him, I don't know. That remains to be seen. But really, the key to fixing the problem is it's got to be personal accountability in the situation. We need to have civilian boards to review these things, because we are the employers, and we should be the ones that determine what's going to happen. And not all police killings are criminal in nature. We had one happen over here where I'm at last year. I didn't report on it, but I saw the video, and I believe that officer was justified in doing what he was doing. And I actually saw the cop one day downtown, and he was exonerated, and I went up to him and, wished him, I gave my words of support, say, hey, you know what, you did what you had to do, and, I'm happy for you. And he was like, oh, thank you, But, yeah, this is, the killing, police killing people, the violence. It's just the big problem is the type of police we're hiring, the people that we're hiring, the training, and the lack of accountability. That's the problem. Hold them accountable for their actions, just like everybody else is held accountable on their job when they misbehave. So anyway, it's a little bit of a lengthy story. I'll put the link in the description, and you can go read the whole thing yourself. Let me know what you think in the comments section. Like, share, subscribe. Follow me on Gunnison Undercover Facebook page. I post all the news stories that I do on there, so you can get them ahead of time. And I don't do all the stories. There's just not enough time, and I know many of you out there have a short attention span, and if you don't see a real great headline, you don't pay any attention, and you'd rather go watch some guy hold the sign where he exploits the God and the veterans, right? But it's more exciting sometimes. Some people are, not everybody. So anyway, I'm John Van Dyke for New Jersey Exposed. Till next time.